All right, y'all, so we're gonna take a second to talk about the muscles of the lower leg, because as we're working these muscles, stretching these muscles, activating these muscles, we wanna make sure that we know why. Why does it work? And what are these things that I'm working on, right? So let's talk about the back of the leg first, because it's probably the most important part. We all know our Achilles. We know what it is, we know where it is, but maybe what you don't know is that you have several muscles on this backside that actually attach and turn into this Achilles muscle. Now this Achilles muscle continues on to become the plantar fascia, and that is why these muscles are going to be so important and a huge part of your rehabilitation in getting rid of this plantar fasciitis. So when we're here, we're looking at, we've got two primary ones. There's technically another one that's going to attach into the Achilles tendon. However, the muscle belly is way up here. Everything back here is really more tendon, so we're not too worried about that guy. But you've got your gastroc, okay? Gastrocnemius. That's what you see when you see people's calf muscles. And then underneath that, you've got a muscle that's called your soleus. And that muscle is actually like the depth, the thickness of your calf. So like if you've got, chicken legs and you're thinking, oh, I don't want chicken legs anymore, I want to beef them up a little bit. Most people, I'll see them in the gym doing a whole bunch of calf raises. However, that muscle is so much thinner, whereas the soleus is a thick muscle. So you have more availability for getting thickness in the lower leg by working the soleus muscle. And really the only difference, you work the gastroc from a straight position, and then you would work the soleus from a bent position. So little tip there. And then you've got another muscle back there that's called the tibialis posterior. That's gonna be another really important muscle that we're gonna discuss. It's a deeper muscle. You can't see it here. It's a deeper muscle that's gonna go underneath even that soleus, and it's a counterpart to your tibialis anterior, which is where you get shin splints. And that muscle helps to support your arch. It helps to support your balance. And so if you ever walk on an unstable surface and your feet hurt after that, your tibialis posterior is a direct line and part of that. Then when it comes to the anterior side, I'll cover everything, but we're not necessarily, there's a little bit less detail. We don't need all the details with that, okay? But we got tibialis anterior. That's where you typically get the shin splints, like what we said. And then we've got the peroneus muscles. Those muscles, you got 3 of them. They're the muscles that help to evert the foot, which is what helps counter rolling your ankle. So if you've been a person that rolls their ankle a lot or has rolled their ankle a lot in the past, those are the muscles that have been compromised that you want to make sure to work and stabilize to support the ankle as a whole. And then when it comes to the muscles in the foot, I'll be completely honest, there's a whole bunch of them. I'm not going to go through and talk about them, but essentially it's a bunch of extensor, flexor, hallucis, digitorum, and adductor muscles. Like they're literally called by what they do because it's a giant rat's nest mess. It's not a mess, it's perfect. But it's kind of a rat's nest under there because you've got muscles that are going this way, they go diagonal. So they go all in which different directions, and the names of the muscles are just meant to help tell you where they are, because otherwise we would all probably be lost. So we're not going to talk so much about the detailed muscles of the foot. There are a few things that will specifically work some of those muscles, but we'll talk about that as we get there. So muscles of the lower leg.